So this year, I went out on a date with one of my biggest high school crushes. I mean, this girl, was just someone who I had just such a big crush on in high school. I mean, just absolutely, just beautiful, just so sexy to me. And I remember I just had such a crush on her all throughout high school, and and never anything happened with us in high school because, I was, I just didn't have game or anything like that back then, and she was more interested in, in college guys, and so, I didn't, back then, to her, I didn't really fit the criteria of what she was looking for. Well, anyways, I still had a, crush on her just because for some reason, I just thought she was so damn attractive. And so after high school and everything, we all went our separate ways, but we stayed connected on social media, and every once in a while we would chat a little bit, but, that was about it. And all of a sudden, about over the past year, I noticed her reaching out to me more. She would message me and, just asking things about me and my career. She follows me on social media, so, if she sees I got things going on, that I'm building businesses and achieving success and a following and a brand in my life, and so, she started reaching out to me more and more, and before you know it, started being a little flirty with me, and until finally, this year we set up a date, to go out, and I remember, it's funny because I never get nervous going out on dates, ever, but going out with her, I legitimately felt nervous. And I remember, talking to one of my best friends, like, wow, I actually feel nervous, my gosh, going out with her, because I just, she was such a big crush of mine in high school. It was just like a high school crush, but still, I mean, she still looks good and everything, and, all of her pictures and everything on social media looks great, and, sexy, and so I was, legitimately nervous going out with her. And so we meet up and go out, and as the date began, we went out to get some dinner together. Immediately, I just started to realize that, wow, this is not someone that I'm interested in at all. As I listened to her just talk about herself, just non-stop, barely even asking me anything about my life, but just going on, verbally vomiting all over me about, all the shit in her life, literally, about how she became an alcoholic, and, and how she, has had, severe anxiety and depression, and can't, keep a relationship for the life of her, and started, going on telling me how she's a compulsive shopper. She makes good money in her career, but started telling me how she's a compulsive shopper. Over the weekend before, she told me how she spent several $1,000s on accessories, purses, and clothes that she literally regretted buying, that she didn't even really know why she bought it. She just said that this is kind of like an addiction of her because she makes good money and everything. She just, always frivolously spends money, and then was telling me about how she goes on dating apps, and how she very rarely, if ever, goes out with anyone from the dating apps. She does it strictly just for attention, just to get attention from guys. She says it makes her feel good to lead guys on, to have them message her and flirt with her and try to get her to go out with them, and then just kind of ghost them, and saying how that makes her feel good. And then how she was saying when she does go out with guys, that they're never ever good enough for her. She was saying how she pretty much always just tears them apart, judges them, how most guys lack intelligence, how very few guys are smart, and how that's one of the biggest turn-ons to her, is that a guy is is intellectual and really knowledgeable, and just going on and on about how she just tears guys apart. And I felt really uncomfortable, on this date. It went from, being someone that, I had such a crush on to just wanting the date to end as quickly as possible, because I felt like I was walking on eggshells. Like, wow, okay, I hear her tearing apart all these guys that she goes out with, that they're not smart enough, that they're not, educated enough, they're not this, they're not that, blah, 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 and, and then she, and then she told me about all her problems, about, being an alcoholic, and depression, and severe anxiety, and, and just, having, a hard time ever really truly being happy, and, having, relationship, and even problems just having friends, and, being a compulsive shopper. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't, this is the girl that I had such a severe crush on in high school. Like, oh my gosh. And I couldn't wait for the date to be over. So afterwards, we walked around town a little bit, and, quickly I was kind of like, okay, I guess, we should, I guess you want to head back, to my house, just because that's where, her car was parked at and everything, at my house. And, I was kind of trying to lead towards just ending the night. And she said, oh, well, we don't have to go in yet, we can, keep hanging out and walking around and stuff. So I was like, okay, all right. And so we just kept walking, and she just kept talking about herself, not asking me anything about me. Just, and I found that with a lot of girls, it's like they're so self-absorbed. It's like they only want to hear themselves talk. They don't ever ask you, anything about you. But she just kept going on, just talking about herself, not really asking me anything about me, until finally, we'd walk so much, and I was just kind of like, all right, this is never gonna end. So I was just like, all right, I gotta get up early tomorrow. I'm training for my triathlon and everything, so gotta call it a night. And she's like, oh, we should definitely. And normally, I can be kind of an aggressive closer. Typically a lot of times when I go out on a date with a girl, I'm trying to close on the first date, if not definitely the second date. But with her, I didn't even go in for a kiss, which is very rare for me. Because normally I'm pretty aggressive with, if I do go out on a date with a girl, then I'm trying to go all the way. And so I didn't even go in for a kiss. I just kind of wanted to. I just didn't feel comfortable around her, and I didn't want to push it. And so ended the date, and I really didn't ever want to see her, hang out with her, ever again after that. And it was interesting because then afterwards, I guess because she is an attractive girl, she's probably used to a lot of guys, being really aggressive with pursuing her and everything. So after that, the next day she was texting me about how it was such a great time we had. And then, over the following couple of weeks, she just kept texting me about how, oh, when are we going to hang out again? Are we going to hang out again? Are we going to, hang out? And I just, just kept kind of blowing her off until I think now she finally got the hint, that I'm not interested in. But to me, one thing that I've learned, one of my friends, and my friend who I was telling about this, who I told about how I was so nervous and everything going out on the date, and when I told him about it the next day, he's still kind of a blue-pilled friend, good friend of mine, but he's still, blue-pilled, and he was all, oh, maybe she was just acting like that, and just, because, she was really nervous and everything, and, which maybe she was, but still, it doesn't take, it doesn't take away from the fact of all the things that she told me. That she was, an obsessive, shopping, compulsive shopping, and alcoholic, and and all the judgments that she has towards guys, and all the other things that she went on, and just how uncomfortable that I felt her on. As it still doesn't take, that nervous or not, I've learned to accept and take at face value what women tell me. Even if they say that if they tell you, one thing I've learned, that if a woman tells you that she's crazy, oh, I'm crazy, and if they say it joking around, believe them, they're crazy. So that's something I've come to realize, that when a woman tells you about herself, even if it seems joking around, believe them. Because if they tell you that they're crazy, that they're a psycho bitch, even if they say it joking around, believe them, because they probably are. And something is that, as I've gotten older, I've, realized that I don't want to inherit someone else's problems. I've gotten, protective of my energy and my personal space, and how because, I'm at a place in my life where I have such peace in my life, and I'm happy, and I'm content, drama-free, that, yeah, sure, maybe I could go out with her again and smash it and everything like that, but why? I don't want to, clearly she has issues and problems, and why do I want to open up Pandora's box? And why do I want to go down that road? And, when she's admitting all these, problems she has about herself, and she's admitting, about how much, no guy is good enough for her and judge them and everything, why do I want to take all this drama into my life? When I didn't even enjoy the company with her. It's one thing if we hung out and, and I really enjoyed myself and I had a good time, and, she was asking me a lot of things about me, and, it just felt like a lot of fun and a good evening, then sure, I'd be excited to want to hang out with her again, but I didn't even enjoy it. I felt like I was walking on eggshells, and, and I didn't, enjoy it, listening to her talk about herself the whole time, and, and all that, hearing about her problems and how no guy's good enough for her and all this and this and this. Why do I want to go down that road? And so my younger self, like a lot of guys would probably just, keep pursuing that. And then years later, or whenever, when they finally did break up and shit hit the fan, then a lot of times you look back and you realize how, and I'm sure you can think of this, with women that you've dated in your life, that when you finally broke up, you can usually look back to when you first started dating, and you can remember how your inner intuition told you that it wasn't a good idea to pursue this girl. And I can think that, about, most of my exes that had dramatic breakups and things like that, I can remember now in the beginning, my gut saying that it wasn't a good idea to pursue this person, but I still did anyways. Listen to your gut. As I've gotten older, I've learned more to trust my intuition, to trust my gut. That, sure, there are some women that are fun just for, friends with benefits, casual, but if your gut instinct is telling you, know what, this isn't a good idea, you don't want to open up this Pandora's box, then listen to it, respect your intuition and your gut. So this story, I'm just sharing it because it's interesting how the tables can turn. Someone that was my biggest high school crush and everything like that to completely flipping around where, over a decade later, just like, repulsed at the person that she's, become and everything. Couldn't believe that, this is who I was so extremely attracted to back then, and how, and now it went from me being like the dorky guy that, she wasn't, I wasn't really good enough for her at the time because, she was into older guys and everything, to now, I have my life together and everything, and, now she's pursuing me, but I'm like, I don't want to inherit her problems, and, I would rather, whether date someone, if it's going to be dating, or whatever, I would rather either be single or date someone that at least has their stuff together, is emotionally stable, and not someone that is a basket case. I don't really want to inherit someone, a lot of their baggage. I understand that people have problems, but, I really, most people don't change. Some people can change, but you got to ask yourself, if someone is admitting that they still have all these current problems and things that they're dealing with, then do you really want to take that baggage on into your life, especially if it's someone that you're going to be intimate and getting close with? Just food for thought, and to me, I would rather be single and have peace of mind than get involved with someone that's gonna open up Pandora's box and just open up a world of drama and problems for me, and disrupt that peace and harmony that I have in my life. So if you have any comments about this, any experiences with girls that you dated in high school, how things changed as time went on and you got older and you reconnected with her, then leave a comment below, share about it. Or if you got a comment to leave about this situation, then I love the comments, I love engaging with you guys, and subscribe to the channel, because on this channel I'm always putting out videos about my MGTOW story time and advice for men, and of course always business videos, business coaching advice, and how to make money working for yourself. And until next time, guys, have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.